Are we live? We are live. I think we are. I could be wrong. I wasn't late today, though. Let's try that again. I wasn't late, though. That's good. Just calibrating the audio captions. Yep, the auto captions, should I say. Yeah, there you go. Sup, Shredders? My name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to, hang on a minute. Is my, hang on. Nah, it's a bit off. Here we go. That's a bit better. Had to redo my seat so that I was in the middle of the camera. That's professionalism. Okay, welcome to an SB Livestreams number 50 today, where for just $5 you can get a track reviewed of your choice, up to 5 minutes. Now, if you go through the commissions tab in Ko-fi, that the link is in the description of this video, you can request it there. Please do not just make a general donation. Please specifically go through the commissions tab. The commissions are open. I can see that they're open right now. So that's great. Hopefully you are having a wonderful day today. I have decided to do something different today. I am going to show a song that I have personally had an interest in, because I feel that that would be a fun way to start proceedings so that we're all sharing music with each other. Now, this one I want to make a video on because I have some feelings about the performance on Jimmy Kimmel. Let's do this. So this is a track called Knocked Loose. This is the act named Knocked Loose featuring Poppy, titled, this is their song Suffocate. Suffocate. The Suffocate, there we go. This has received a fair bit of controversy recently, and I don't understand why, but it's okay. Let's listen through it. It's such a phenomenally heavy guitar tone, isn't it? And just the drag. I mean, it's so brutal. But they look like they're having such a great time. I think it's worth noting before we go any further, even though it's such angry music, everyone just seems to be vibing with it, right? You know what I mean? Everyone just seems to be vibing with it. And then offbeat hi-hat though, right?
And then our connection. I love the separation.
And in fact, there's no subtitles for this. The lyrics are very hard to understand because of the vocal style, both from the vocalist of Knocked Loose and Poppy, who is the one in the white dress. That is a phenomenal contrast to everyone else in the band. I do not feel that is an accident. And the reggaeton kind of beat there is just, dude. Ba boom ba boom ba boom ba boom. And it's just that vocal control going to that fry, that kind of sound at the end. I don't know. See, this is what's probably upsetting a lot of people. You listen to that and you think, oh, they're just screaming into a microphone. It takes a lot of polish and technique to be able to do that in a way where it's consistent. The average person would scream like that without knowing how to modulate everything and kind of navigate it, and they would lose their voice, and they would not be able to do that. But Poppy, as well as the other vocalists, just the ways that they're affecting their chords and everything like that, and using their entire here, and in their chest for breathing, is just utterly tremendous. It's just fantastic. And even if this has been controversial, and I want to do a video on it to talk about it, I still feel like it's an important thing for Jimmy Kimmel to do. Like, I think that if he has apologized, it's only to kind of appease the people that, if Jimmy Kimmel has apologized, I think it's only to kind of satiate those people that feel like media should be made for them. Now, I say that with the understanding that I actually have been listening to this, and I'm a sensitive snowflake. You could call me a sensitive snowflake. I haven't heard anything that's actually innately offensive here. I mean, there are crazy sounds. I mean, it's just so, like, that sends chills down my spine. It sends chills down my spine because it's just such a raw expression there. You listen to that and you go, how could you possibly get more real than that? How do you, the music, the guitar, bass, drums behind it is so feral, but there's also a lot of different, like, there's more variety with the percussion than you get in a lot of tracks that are released nowadays in the mainstream. And I love that. They're not trying to make a groove that you kind of go, oh yeah, this feels good. They're trying to lead you through what they're talking about. And I think part of why you get away maybe even from such the harsher topics and stuff like that is because they're deliberately obfuscating it with the tone of voice. Suffocate, those screams, the ones that kind of, the drums slow down, the dun 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 dun. And she just goes for it. And just that desperation there, even if you don't know what the words mean, that expression is so raw that you can kind of imagine yourself being suffocated. And when they're screaming at each other at the end, it's like they're both so frustrated they just want to fucking breathe. And I love it. I love it to pieces. I think that I don't know what they could have done to improve it. It's not like it's a virtuosic instrumental performance. It's not meant to be. They're trying to create an aesthetic within this genre where these guitars, these sludgy, kind of down-tuned, gritty guitars are just they're so violent, trying to represent what the vocalists, the singers, the songwriters are going through. And they do it so well. The bass player sticking with the root notes of those guitar parts. It's so easy. And there's different chapters as well. It's practically through composed, which when you think about how abrasive a lot of this is, I love talking about this kind of music because there's so much thought put into it a lot of the time. Even when it's so at face value, if you just completely dismiss it as noise, well, to be fair, a lot of music is noise nowadays. In fact, arguably, all music is noise because it's made out of sounds. But, yeah. I think a closing comment, one that I'll make in the video I want to make, and it's already been done to death probably. I think this came out like a week ago and it's probably been done to death on the internet and people will move on to the next thing. But you know, like when we have a song like this and it gets controversy, if Jimmy Kimmel is keeping it up, that means he's totally for it. And that's the most gangster stuff, dude. That's the most gangster shit, because it's like, it's just so, it's so cool that they're not trying to feel like they have to invalidate the creativity, the artistry of the musicians involved by removing that. Like, they knew what they were getting involved to when they put the song on stage. They knew what they were getting involved to when they went and put this into a live performance. And they smashed it. And I think that, you know, when you've got a song like this and it is so controversial, it only helps to get attention to them. Like, I looked at the comments for this video, and there are people that are listening to this who would not have found them unless they heard that people were upset about it and they heard the controversy and they love the song because guess what? It sounds cool. The music is a massive wall of ferocity and tone and just heaviness from the get-go. It does not screw around. You know what it's about. The parts move together. And what I also love about it is that it's so effective without needing to do too much with the chord progressions and all that kind of stuff. It's just not overcomplicated. It's just full of love. So I think the actual theme of this is the music is meant to sound like you're being suffocated. It's just so abyssally just brutal. And I think that both Knocked Loose and Poppy are phenomenal musicians. They played incredibly well. It was not to a click because of the tempo stuff. It was not auto-tuned because you would hear the auto-tune on those clean parts that were there. There was talking and it was just spoken, so they can clearly play and sing. And yeah, smashed it. And I think when Poppy does auto-tune, it's far more obvious anyways. Like, it's a stylistic thing because they're not trying to hide the fact that they can't sing. But yeah, studio production was absolutely incredible. Wonderful attempt at trying to capture live performance in a middle gig, and they did that sensationally. Everyone had a good time, just not the people who feel like media should be catered to them. Or to be more fair and less kind of blunt about it, what I mean is, because I get that Jimmy Kimmel might not typically have musicians like this on. It's just more that to get upset because of music where the lyrics are hard to understand, they aren't patently offensive. It's just that it sounds different or scary. To be offended by that is just fucking ridiculous. But anyways, moving on. We have a track from Westchester. Hello, Westchester. How are you today? Hopefully you are doing well today. Hopefully you are doing well and your family as well and everyone else as well. Thank you. We shall do Westchester's one now. Thanks for your request. What does Westchester have for us today? We will see. I don't know if it'll be the same as this, but we will find out.
Good morning, my friend.
Oh, that's nice.
From New Zealand. Good morning. I hope that this isn't rude. I wanna say, dude, you helped me to improve. I wanna say you helped me. Yeah, you helped me.
This is beautiful, man. Like, this is, I don't know if you understand. I don't know if you understand how much this means to me. It means a lot. Thank you so much.
And I'm sure you're helping others too.
The delay was kind of dope, actually. I like that.
Bro, thank you for everything. Thank you for helping me out.
Hi, Jacob. How's it going?
Say good morning to New Zealand. Thank you, bro, for helping me out. Thank you for helping me out. Good morning, New Zealand. I wanna say thank you too. Yeah, Hey bro, thank you for everything. I wanna say good morning to. How are you, bro? I hope you know you're still important. Yeah, still important to me. Oh yeah, so important, such a great history. Ooh, hey bro, thank you for everything and anything I can do to keep this true. Thank you, and the guitar sounds good too. Sounds really nice. It sounds really nice. I'm really proud of you too. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Oh. You've made my entire fucking year, man. Like that. You don't know. I'm not gonna go into it, but you don't know how much that hit me like it just a train. Thank you, Peeping Tom. I appreciate it. Honestly, man, it's people like you that keep me going. Yourself and Jacob and other people. It's just stuff like this. Do you mind if I download it? I'm gonna download this. Because I have YouTube Premium, so I can download videos. I'm gonna keep this. This is a very special video for me. I'm gonna go thank you so much. Thank you so much. This means the world to me. Yeah. Yeah. It's made my world. This music, this song, Glow, it's part of an album that I really need to get out. Because I've made an entire album and it's just sitting there and I've just been sitting on it. I've just been overwhelmed by a lot of stuff recently. And I need to get it out because I've got people who are waiting on me to, like, they've heard it and they really want me to get the album out. I need to do that, and I will. So what I'll do, if you want, can you yeah. I'll let everyone know when it comes out, but it'll be before the end of the month. It'll be before the end of the month. I appreciate it. And just the affirming stuff you said in here is beautiful, and I really appreciate you as a friend, Westchester, because it's been a while since we've talked. And for you as a musician, I've reviewed a lot of your music, and it's just I cannot overstate this. The fact that you listened to feedback from myself and other people and actually took it in and tried to apply it to your music is really it's sensational, because you'll work with musicians and they sorry Green, no free reviews for you, bud. No free reviews. Even if you were the only one, man, I'm here just to kind of just hang out and listen to paid reviews. Yeah. If there were free reviews, there'd be a lot more viewers. But yeah. Anyways. Okay. So yeah, I just appreciate the fact that you took that feedback on, though. Peeping Tom, I appreciate that a lot. You'll find that people, some musicians will not take it on. And they will then continue to make the same music and then not understand why they might not be getting out of the kind of the rut they're in, you know. But yeah. Awesome. I'm not really sure what else to say. I mean, like, it feels weird reviewing my own track. I honestly, like, I think that I just think it's a really pretty song. I like how the guitars aren't perfectly symmetrical on either side. They kind of go back and forth. I like how the bass comes in at the halfway point and it kind of fills things in the lower end of the frequency spectrum. And I think that the softer lead guitar on top is really pleasant as well. I think that if you were to sort of put more than what I put into this track in, it might sort of oversaturate or overcomplicate it. And this is the exact reason why subjectivity matters. The reason that subjectivity matters is because I couldn't have imagined someone putting vocals on top of this, but you did. And it sounded cool. And what you did actually improved it. To be honest, though, it's probably biased because of the fact that you're saying nice things about me and I appreciate it. But it's also the fact that, when you write something, it's always good to be aware of the fact that it can be added to and that other people can find alternative sort of directions to it. But yeah, I made this recording a few days after you made your guitar track on YouTube, and then I forgot about it till today. Well, thank you for remembering. I appreciate that, bud. Honestly, you've made my day, if not my week, if not my month. It's wonderful. And I also think it's just worth saying, just to anyone who's watching this isn't just about like me feeling good because people are saying nice stuff. I think that like the power of when you appreciate something or someone, like there are people I appreciate too, like just how I mentioned before, like with Peeping Tom, I appreciate that Peeping Tom, that they listen to my feedback on their music and that they, are continuing to sort of work on it and kind of, that kind of thing. It's if you tell someone when you appreciate what they do, it will make them happier. And it's such an easy thing to do, to show like gratitude or appreciation for people. And I think that the obviousness of that can sort of become more opaque when because sometimes you can only think about the bad stuff. But if you focus on some of the good stuff as well, it can even balance out some of the stuff you might want to adjust. But yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Yeah. How's everything going with you, though, Peeping Tom? Is it okay? Everything going all right with you in your world? You've been taking care of yourself? Are you ready for Christmas? Christmas is, how many days away? 20. It is 20 days away. That's wild, dude. It's wild that Christmas is only 20 days away. To be fair, like, I'm glad you're doing awesome, because I think you mentioned you were going through some stuff. I'm not going to talk about it here because I'm sure it's private for you. But I think you mentioned you were doing some stuff, so I'm glad that things are better for you now. Like, sincerely, I'm glad. So it's your birthday in February. What are you going to be doing in February? What's on for you in February? The Big 42, nice. That's good, man. What are you going to do to celebrate? A concert. Is there a particular concert that you want to go check out? Who's Collective Soul? Who's Collective Soul? Oh, they're an American rock band originally from Stockbridge, Georgia, now based in Atlanta. The group consists of the brothers Ed and Dean Roland, Will Turpin, Johnny Robb, and Jesse Triplett. Sick. They've got a website as well, so that's cool. Just going to copy that. Good. Well, I think that's a great way to spend the birthday, mate. Just enjoying yourself and having fun. So they've got a lot of dates, haven't they? So you'd be going to one of these guys here, in February. They do cruises as well, I think. The 90s cruise. That's crazy. What's the 90s cruise 2025? Oh, wild. So it's like, sup NW Kitchen. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. So it's like lots of 90s bands. Ah, nice. Well, hopefully you have a fantastic time, dude. There's been like this like uptick in there's been an uptick in people that are doing like cruises. My partner Marie would love a 90s cruise. She'd adore it. She'd be so keen for this, eh? Tampa, Cozumel, and Costa Maya. Oh, that's so cool, dude. Because they've got like the 70,000 tons of metal. That's another one. That's all. Oh my gosh, that is so dope, dude. What? Nah, man. Are you serious? I don't want to subscribe. Damn. So that's cool. That's cool. So you can do like so all of these cruises are happening at the end of winter? At end of winter, right? Like the end of January, February. Oh, that is so cool. How much is it to go to this? Sorry, I'm just checking stuff out whilst we have a talk, you know. It's probably chat time, to be honest. Yeah, we're having chats. Yeah, we're having chats. We are having chats. Here we go. Good. Booking. You can book now. Private cabin. Dude. Private cabin, baby. Oh, no. Nah. This is wild. Okay. So if you want to get a ticket, bro, you can get decks 2 to 3, a double to twin. They are 2,000 US. It is $2,000 US to be able to get a place on this. That's wild, dude. But then I suppose you're also on a boat for 4 days. So when you're on a boat for 4 days, you're getting everything done on the ship and everything like that. The voyage. So, so you start in Florida. I don't want to have any save settings. You start in Florida. You will be sailing out of Port Miami in the late afternoon. While you wait for departure, grab a drink and explore the ship's many amenities. You will most likely run into some of your favorite artists before we have even left port. Now that's fun. Before you've left port. There you go. That's fun. After all, it's like everyone has a backstage pass. There would be so much sex. There would be so much sex on that ship. That they're gonna do. There's just gonna be so much of that, dude. And good on him. Good on him for having fun, man. Bars that never close? No. Bars that never close on a ship? Dude, imagine if you got seasick and you were drunk, dude. That'd have to make sure that you could you'd have to make sure that there'd be like guardrails and security and stuff like that. Sailing toward Jamaica? Do you go to Jamaica? Oh my gosh. No, you go to Jamaica. Dude, you go to Jamaica. That would be so much fun. I want to go to Jamaica. That looks so fucking good. Dude, I'm going to do this next year. I'm going to do this like not 2025, but 2026. I'm going to do this in 2026. That looks like so much fun, dude. Just getting on a boat and going out to Jamaica. You have to go to Florida though. Not sure if I want to go to Florida though. Although if I go to Florida, I can go to Disney World or something like that it is. And I went to the Japanese one, to Disneyland, or maybe it's Disneyland in Florida and Disney World in Tokyo. I'm not sure. Either way, you could go to Disneyland or whatever, and then you could get on the boat and then go hang out at the Metal Festival for 4 days. Oh, dude, it sounds like a good time. Who are the bands? The artists. Who are the artists? Okay, so they've all got their best like black and white logos here. Okay, there is Arctura Benite. This is a fun game. A fun game with middle band logos is figuring out whether you can even read them. Beyond, Creator, Candlemass, Crown Shift, Decapitated, Delane, Emperor, XDO, whatever the hell, I have no idea. Fintroll, oh, that's so clever. You go over top of them with the mouse, and it shows you what they are. That's cool. So that's Fintroll. Hammerfall, Ishan, Instremo, Kalama, Chryson, Majestica, Mork. Sup, Ty Havard? How are you doing today? Sup, Ty? It really doesn't like sup, Ty. Yeah, it doesn't like Ty Havard. Yeah. Oh well. Sorry, how you doing? Samael, I suppose. Septic Flesh, Sepultura. Farewell at Sea shows. Okay, that's cool. Some number out of 10, so not bad. Okay. Glad you're doing okay. We're looking at 70,000 tons of metal. Just having a look at the show, what's going on with it. Just chilling out. It's good vibes. The Covenant, the Zenith Passage, Trollfist, Trouble, Twilight Force, Unleash the Archers. See, I don't really know many of these bands. Have they got like, oh, you can go to their social medias? So a lot of these bands are a bit bigger, aren't they? That one's taking a bit of a time to like figure out. Yeah, that website is maybe not as well designed because of how long it takes to load. Yeah, I feel like there is a potential sarcasm there, but I appreciate that. They do look very similar. Or we might not being sarcastic. I'm not sure. Middle bands are like the one thing where like most of the logos are like kind of like written like they're like just tree branches, but at the same time, do a lot of other musicians and other bands have like logos? Like, do pop stars have logos? Do electronic musicians? I think they have logos. I'm not sure. I suppose they all would. It's just I feel like these ones, even though they're less easy to read, they're more striking. But I suppose it's only because you're having to think more than like a few seconds about what they actually mean. But yeah, the event, banners, press inquiries, pool girl and pool boy calendars. You can get even got a carbon offset thing. Arrival and departure. Don't miss the boat. Yeah, well, I mean that seems fairly straightforward. Don't miss the boat. So if you've ever wondered whether you need to get on a boat in order to be able to be on a boat, you do have to get on the boat. Our sail time is 5 o'clock. Boarding will start at 12. There you go. No later than 3 days prior to their cruise. Yep. Oh no. Yeah, damn. It seems like they've got so much information here that I assume they need to have in order for it to be legally viable. FAQ. Popular questions. What does it cost? All tickets are per person plus taxes and fees per person. You must add the per person ticket price and the taxes and fees to calculate the total cost per person to see current prices. So actually that is incredibly important. Because when I was looking at the prices before, it said $2,000 for a dick. And now that I'm thinking, a dick, fuck, dick. How do you say crew dick? Fuck. How do you do that? I can't fucking, my New Zealand accent is just screwing me over here. Dick. Dake. Yeah, you guys can say dick. I can't. Because when I say dick, it sounds deek. No, you're just screwing with me now. You're just screwing with me now. Dick. My fuck. Oh, good. Oh, this is fun. This is fun. Right. Put a shrimp on the bar. Not fun. Hello, would you like to buy some car insurance? Dick. Fuck. Fuck, Jesus. At Walmart, we only offer the finest quality. I can't, man. I can Poop. See, poop. Poop dick. Yeah, see, we're screwed. It just, we don't know how to do this. It is really, it's awesome. I love it. This has been one of my favorite parts of figuring out how to do this live streaming stuff, has simply been to, hang on. Hang on. Let me just figure this out. Go. There we go. That's better. That's better. It's really one of my favorite things is technology. Because this AI stuff that I'm using to sort of transcode my captions is incredibly intelligent, and it's doing it in real time. And I can talk to people in real time, and it's a lot of fun. However, it also has an aneurysm with certain words simply because it just doesn't know what to do. But yeah, $2,000 per person to go on a boat. That's wild, dude. That's wild. How old do I have to be? Oh, right, because in the States you have to be 21 in order to drink. Here in New Zealand, you can have a drink if you're with an adult. So, this is my understanding of the law here in New Zealand. If you are here, if you are at a place like at a pub or something like that, I don't think that there's an issue if you buy a drink and like let your kid have a sip. It's frowned upon, but you typically no one's going to have too much of a tantrum if you do it. But when you get to 18, you can then drink as much alcohol as you want. 21, you can do a whole lot of stuff under 21 that you know, I suppose in the States potentially. Although I think gambling is a bit older as well, isn't it? Like how old do you have to be to gamble in the States? Because in New Zealand, I think gambling is 20. I think the casino is 20. So they trust people to sort of like, because we've got an issue with drinking in New Zealand. Like a lot of us drink way too much alcohol. I don't drink. I don't actually drink anymore. I used to drink in my early 20s, but it just doesn't make me feel good anymore. I don't know about you guys, but it doesn't make me feel good. But a lot of people, especially in their late teens, early 20s here in New Zealand, there's just a really feral drinking culture. And it just really ruins people. And so in New Zealand, 21 to smoke cigarettes? That's wild. I think in New Zealand, what is the vaping limit? Vaping law, legal age, NZ. It's legal to vape at 18. So if you're 18 years of age here in New Zealand, you can vape. Now, the problem with vaping is that here in New Zealand, we were a bit slow to figure out that they were trying to put nicotine in vapes. So as I remember correctly, or if I remember correctly, there weren't actually issues with vaping. Like there weren't legal issues with vaping initially because it was just a fun thing you did to make smoke appear, right? But then what happened is in New Zealand, the Marlboro companies and stuff, they realized, hey, you know, we should actually get into vaping too and just make it more addictive than it already was. And so now you've literally got 13-year-olds in New Zealand who vape constantly. It's just a predicament for us that I don't think people in New Zealand know what to do, because these tobacco companies have grasped onto the marketing that vaping is a way to get away from cigarettes. But the problem with vaping is that in New Zealand, there aren't enough guidelines, or at least there weren't from what I remember until maybe recently. There was just not enough information about what was in the vapes themselves. So we have we've made it 18 now, but it's just, yeah, it's just silly. I'm sorry. I actually don't think you're missing out on much, Jacob. I understand it'd probably be nice to drink. But I don't think you're missing out on too much because, or no, to be fair, you're only missing out if you were to not drink that much because brain damage due to drinking too much is not a good time, clearly. Ty says, I quit drinking at 23, 6 hours are possibly fun. I don't know because I can't remember. And then a 3-day hangover for 100 pounds. 100 pounds. Dude, you had a 3-day hangover? How did you have a 3-day hangover? That's wild, man. That's crazy. That is so intense. I'm sorry to hear that you went through that. Dude, I don't think most people would drink if they drank and then they were hungover for 3 days. Holy crap. That's crazy, man. That's so intense. Man, that's wild. I think that there's like a genuine risk with drinking. Like, it must be such a difficult thing to try and figure out when people should be able to do stuff. Because like with teenagers, their brains are, teenagers, and I say teenagers because I have kids that come into these live streams and they watch them. And I don't know why, because all my live streams are for 18 years and older. So I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but I have an age limit set on these live streams because of the fact that some of the music I listen to will have swear words or graphic content. And I still have literal 9-year-olds coming in being like, I watched a live stream and you said a bad word. And it's like, you shouldn't be here. I don't know how you manage this stuff. It'd be so difficult for governments and countries to figure it out. And then, of course, you've got the fact that for a lot of situations, people get access to that regardless. Either because it's easier to just give the kids what they want, or they will find a way around it regardless. It's tricky stuff. Didn't used to drink often, but when I did, I liked to go for broke. So basically, you kind of just had your limiter fall off when you drank. You just kind of just couldn't really stop. Yeah, that I understand why you stopped. That I'm not having a go at you. I think it's really brave that you stopped, genuinely, and it's actually really intelligent that you stopped when you realized you couldn't continue. Because if you were to develop a dependence that sort of really kind of caught you in that web, that would have been hell, man. Like, I know alcoholics, and they just can't stop, and they are functional, but they are just constantly drunk, and I just don't even know how that's a life, And that sounds so kind of crappy, I suppose, because it's saying, how could they possibly have an equal quality of life to someone who's sober? That's not what I mean. It's just more, literally, when you are inebriated, you are not the same as you are when you're clear-headed. And I suppose for some people, they're in so much pain that they can't get by without being drunk. And that's indicative, clearly, of a problem that I don't know enough about because I'm not a psychologist. But it's just like, yeah. I actually don't know if I think that is probably a positive thing that you don't drink until you're 21 in the States. I mean, like, I know that sounds really kind of cringy, but in the sense that, like, here in New Zealand, you just have enough 18-year-olds doing actual damage that it actually, you don't know if you can, it's just figuring out, it's fine trying to figure out how many are responsible versus how many aren't. And just kind of figuring out the balance with those. I quickly learned that when going out and not drinking, I actually had to go to places that didn't suck. Yeah. Yeah, because it's tricky, right? Because a lot of places are built around drinking, and especially if you're with mates that do drink, it's just another world when you're sober. You're just kind of sitting there having like an orange juice or a Coke or something like that. And you know how friends get when they're like, oh, why aren't you drinking? That sucks. You should get drunk, etc. And it's like, nah, man, I can't do that anymore. I was hungover for 3 days. So I feel you on that. I'm proud of you for doing that. Like, genuinely, it's fantastic that you took care of yourself. Yeah. And the thing is, I don't think drunk people mean to be annoying. It's just that I think the way to look at a drunk person is they're kind of like a toddler. Except they are a lot bigger, a lot more dangerous because they're a lot bigger, and also any sort of like dark thoughts are amplified because there is just no limiter anymore. And I think that's potentially the way, ironically, if I ever have kids. If I have kids, I'm just going to try and remember that just toddlers are just drunk adults. Yeah, toddlers are just drunk adults. And you just got to. I suppose that's again. Clearly that's something you can only experience as a parent, because you have them. But yeah, I have a nephew who's a toddler, and apparently he is going through a bit of a rough time in terms of his behavior, and he's not. And now I've got a niece as well, so I'm an uncle now. I've got a nephew and a niece. That didn't translate well. I have a nephew and a niece now. And that's another thing as well. When you're like, and you got a nephew and a niece, you get like kind of close to them. Like you get kind of close in the sense that you're like, you kind of see what parenting is like through partly, I think, how parents have to behave in social situations. They might want to sort of like throttle kids, but they can't do that. I don't know if throttle or throw was more appropriate in that situation, but I'm going to go with throttle because throwing children clearly isn't a good idea. Yeah, that's why I sent both my toddlers to rehab. Much easier. Yeah, basically, if you just give them an iPad or whatever, that's the kind of rehabilitation they need. Just give them like 6 hours a day of Elsa Gate, and it'll be all good. You know. But again, I'm not a parent. I don't know how difficult it is to raise a kid. I can only assume it's incredibly difficult. And that privilege of not having a kid in a weird, fucked up sense is part of that is blissful ignorance to its core, I suppose. Middle streams on YouTube, bro. Just get them to like listen to this. Just get them to listen to this. This was on Jimmy Kimmel, right? And people got upset because it scared their children. And it's amazing. Because it's like, why would your like 7-year-old be watching Jimmy Kimmel? It's like an adult late night show, right? Wait. When you don't get to watch 7 hours of Coco Melon in a day. Where the fuck is it? Again, there you go. When you don't get to watch your 7th hour of Coco Melon in a day. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's I assume that's what being a parent is. You're knocked. Yeah, Knocked Loose is great. Poppy is great. Poppy's just having a lot of fun. Oh, man, I love it. I love it. Do you know what's really fascinating, actually? I've just realized that I don't have to worry about a kid watching me in Australia on YouTube anymore because Australia have recently banned social media for under 16-year-olds. And that is awesome because, like, I just feel like, I don't know about you, if I had social media as like a 12-year-old, I would have been so attention deficit. Like, I have kids that come into lessons, like not current ones, but I've had kids in the past, for example. You gotta be careful when you talk about this kind of stuff, right? So it's not a student I work with. There was one student I worked with way back in the day, and they just could not concentrate on anything. They just wanted their phone. They didn't want anything. They didn't want anything else apart from their phone. They couldn't handle focusing for more than like a few minutes at a time. But then, like, when their other sibling came in and did stuff, when their other sibling came in and did stuff, they sat there quietly watching the iPad the entire time. And I get that, like, they may just not have liked the instrument. But then I asked if they liked the instrument, and they said yes. They just wanted to do, like, easier stuff And there's a point as a teacher where if you constantly give a student easier stuff, they're not growing, and they're kind of in a place where you might want to let them go because of the fact that you're not able to teach them. Like, at the point that you're not helping a student improve, you are facilitating their kind of happy place, and that's dope. And it's good to have once in a while. Just consistently grinding is exhausting, right? But like, you need to also have most of the time as a teacher, because you're getting paid, getting them to a point they want to be. And yeah. But then, of course, that's also because kids are young, and it's like rationalizing that stuff clearly is very different than when they're older. Although, to be fair, Poppy is great. Absolutely, Jacob. This has been an interesting live stream. I don't actually mind that there haven't been a lot of requests, in the sense that I feel like that's actually totally fine. It's good to talk to people. I think when you have a YouTube channel, if you're only there because you're getting paid to, like if you're a DSP or some fucking thing, like some nightmare concoction or something like that. I mean, like, honestly, at this point, yeah, there we go. I've just closed the queue. I'm actually going to do any more reviews today. It's fine. I'm fine with that. It's just been good to talk to people. I think, to be fair, sometimes people they'll go to a live stream and then they'll see that the person's talking. They'll be like, oh, good, I can just do it at the end. And then the problem with doing it at the end is that the person has to go. And to be fair, usually with these live streams, I haven't really spoken about it much because often they're busier. I usually only schedule an hour for these. Because of the fact that I never expect them to go for like 2 hours. Like the other day, the one we had a couple of days ago was really busy, and it was awesome. And it wasn't awesome because there were paid requests necessarily. Like, that's not the only reason, but it was also just good to actually chat to people. Do I know the band Love Bites? Yeah. Yeah, I do, but I haven't listened to much of them yet. It annoys me that I can't remember that really wild band we saw the other day. There was this like Japanese metal band that was just absolutely bananas. It was just ridiculous. I've actually saved the playlist though. Like, I've got every single SPPR whatever list saved in my computer, so I'll just go check it out. Broken by the Scream. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of really fun music around at the moment. I know that for a lot of people, it may seem like, especially if you're in a niche where a lot of musicians are struggling to find a career because of the way the industry is, that like things might seem a bit dry and difficult. But it's just, there's just so many different types of music that are all micro and sub niches and whatever, that it's very difficult to get people to commit to a vibe for more than like you have a certain amount of money to spend on things anyways. Like, if it's a financial thing, you can only go to so many gigs and stuff like that. And in terms of attention is a currency as well. And attention is honestly going to, especially because of how overwhelmed a lot of people are, attention is going to be either what is the cheapest and most effective or efficient, or what gets pushed in front of your face. Or, for example, this, where there was a controversy, and it's just so much fucking fun. It's just awesome. And again, the thing with controversies is that, like, this is, I don't know, but cancel culture is a loaded word, right? I think that the kind of the apology people wanted for this track is people wanting Jimmy Kimmel to like censor it and to not have it at all. They're so offended that their sensibilities were hurt because there was a different kind of music that they didn't like. And the problem with that is that the music will not kind of evolve if we don't try different things. And yeah, that is it. There's so much that it feels like there is nothing. It is a phenomenal contradiction, a juxtaposition. It is huge and it's so palpable. It's so much of everything that nothing exists. You can't cling on to something. It's very difficult to find anything. And that's often why people just sit there, and I mean that genuinely, by the way, because I do it. I think all of us have moments where we just kind of sponge out and we just, you just kind of find yourself just kind of comatosing out because everything is overwhelming. And the people that do this, they have these social media apps and stuff like that, have found all the little dopamine buttons to go beep, 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 and they kind of mess with you a bit. Yeah. We're going to do one more track from Jacob, though. I think that's just come through. So this will be the last track for today, because I realized that I think Jacob's one came through after I closed the queue, so we will do that one, though. I also seem to think there was loads of great music in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and there was, but all the kind of crappy music was just forgotten, which can make it feel like it was all amazing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a bit sad, really. Yeah. Nah, it's okay. No, it's honestly, it's fine. So I think Ko-fi lets people continue with their submission if they're already halfway through it. It's just that, like, I'm closing it off for anyone else simply because, like, again, I'm not trying to be unfair to Ty. I'm not trying to be unfair to Ty here. I just think you were already doing it before I closed the queue, if that makes sense. So I'll do it just simply because you didn't know that it was closed. But yeah, like, it's literally impossible to put a request through right now anyways. But yeah, it's just nostalgia for people. And it's just like, we are all just slightly more evolved chimpanzees. We are just slightly more evolved chimpanzees, and everything is just so big, and no wonder we struggle, you know? Okay. Is there a link? Is it on here? I'm wondering if it's on here. Is it this one? I don't know which one it is. Is it on Spotify? Link via Discord, please. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, no, because I wouldn't want you to put through another request to get sent a link through. How to get sitling through. How is sittling? Why is that a word? What is sittling? That is not a word. That is not a word. What is sittling? Sittling. Oh, Sittling is a populated place in Lower Bavaria, Germany, with an elevation of 365 meters. So it is a place. Thank you, Jacob. Appreciate that, bud. I'll get that sorted for you now. Hang on, nearly there. Oh, fudge. There we go.
Here's to you and Joe, your lover boy. Cheers, darling. I've got years to wait around for you. Cheers, darling. I've got your wedding bells in my ear.
He's got a really interesting mannerism to him, because this is Damien Rice with Cheers, Darling. Thanks, Jacob, for sending this through.
Cheers, darling. You gave me 3 cigarettes to smoke my tears away, and I died when you mentioned his name. I'm too shy. I should have kissed you when we were running in the rain.
Damn.
Why, darling? I whisper in your ear, piece of your cake. What am I, darling? The boy you can fear, or your biggest mistake. Cheers, darling. Here's to you and your lover man.
There's like a that kind of sound in the background, which kind of adds a sense of tension to it.
Cheers, darling. I'll just hang around and eat from a can. Cheers, darling. I got a ribbon of green for my guitar. Cheers, darling. Cheers. I had a beauty queen sitting not very far from me, but I die when he comes around to take you home. I lied, I should have kissed you when we were alone. But what am I? A whisper in your ear, or a piece of your cake. Oh, what am I, darling? The boy you can fear, or your biggest mistake.
Damn. That glissando, though.
Your biggest. Oh, what am I?
They love him. They love him so much. I think a lot of what this song from Damien Rice titled Cheers Darlin' does really well is it encapsulates the feeling you have when someone you love goes off with another. And they're married, and there's the dream shatters, and there's nothing more you can do. And they talk about waiting for them. They'd ask all these questions, and it's sort of they phrase it like they're at a wedding, getting more and more drunk, and they're sort of eventually getting to a point where they're screaming out, who they are, what am I? They say cheers to them, all the best, etc. but it almost feels sarcastic because it's just how angry and pissed off they are at the situation. It's just the way it's acted from Damien Rice. There are some good vocal melodies within this, but it's like the feeling behind it. It's the raw passion and intensity of it. You start quieter at the beginning, things are a bit more sort of vulnerable and like almost sad sounding, like as these feelings kind of well, watching them get ready for the wedding and kind of go through and go to the altar and everything like that. And then by the end of it, he's screaming out, and just the vocal fry, the intensity of it is just huge. And you have those sort of like melancholic, like those like kind of flamenco Latin kind of American guitar tones on the cleans there with the nylon guitars. And they're beautiful with the way that they're arpeggiated. And I appreciate the consistency of those throughout, setting the scene for that kind of exotic wedding. I think that the drums with just the kicks and the snares there without too much more going on. There might have been some crashes or cymbals occasionally, but it was more just sort of like a slow dance kind of focus there, because it is very slow, as if time has slowed down for the person that is singing in that position. You have the keys that are intermittent there, a bit of color in the right hand there. They sparkle and it's gorgeous, but it's also sad with the minor feeling and focus throughout. The strings that you have further on into the piece add a sense of intensity and drama and elevation to it that lets you know we're getting higher and higher, and the singer themselves is becoming more elevated. And it's just so clever how we have these different melodies kind of both capitulating whilst also kind of fending each other off. They go in and out, and it's very satisfying when they resolve. But there's also these kind of tritones that are approached on those guitars that add a real sense of distaste and discolor to it, despite how gorgeous it sounds overall. It's a track that's full of kind of like contradictions, but just the eloquence of it. As I go through a bit more, is that like a double bass or something like that in the low end as well? Is it a double bass? Because that kind of throaty tone to it, that low end is fantastic. It might be an electric bass, but if it's a double bass, that kind of graininess of it is just wonderful. I love double basses. They're so cool. And just, again, though, the overall feel and interpretation of that, you see the man literally, thank you, I appreciate that, Jacob. This is why I love the real-time, low-latency stuff with these live streams. You can just talk to people and actually have conversations with them, you know? It's so good. But I suppose beyond that, you've got a well-balanced out frequency spectrum. Music surrounds you in a stereo field. The theme itself with Damien Rice on stage kind of swaying and drinking more alcohol and slowly becoming more inebriated and more sort of outspoken, the music grows with that. There's an intense sort of like bluesy kind of like soulish kind of Latin kind of flamenco kind of like aesthetic and sound to it, with some interesting, maybe some harmonic and melodic minors in there alongside the minor key. But it's more like the dynamics is what kind of makes it more authentic, how crescendos, long form, and try not to repeat myself too much. It's just a song where I think it's about the journey you go through with Damien Rice as they get to the climax, and you hear more of this story and you understand their position, and it's very authentic. And the studio recording, mixing, and mastering, while I don't know why it keeps telling me that it's got an upcoming iLok update, I really need to adjust that, and I will after this. It's just the studio recording, mixing, and mastering is great for a live take. I've got no complaints about the way they handled things, even though it's a bit more of a raw recording. It's not like it's done the way where it takes away from the music or diminishes it. It's just, you can imagine being there live, where things are well balanced, the vocals as well. And if it sounds too clean or polished or sterilized, it takes away from the believability of it. Now, I'm going to say one more thing about Damien Rice. I'll be honest. I've never really been a fan of Damien Rice. I've never really connected to his music or understood it very well. I've never really gotten why people adore his music so much. This here, just the entirety of his mannerisms with the expression, with the music here, it's definitely more of a, this is the environment for this song. This is the environment for this one. Things are sort of like segmented and sort of separated, but each sort of effort feels connected in a way that is good within itself. And I just feel like he is a unique act. And so, Jacob, if nothing else, I want to thank you for giving me another track from Damien Rice so that I can appreciate his music and sort of understand him better. It's really cool stuff. But that, basically, on that note, is my my live stream today. I reviewed a total of 2 songs from Westchester, as well as Jacob's one. Westchester's one was a remix of my track, Good Morning, El Glow, which I appreciate, and I have downloaded that, and I'll keep till the end of time because it made a lot to me. And also, yeah, we checked out Damien Rice as well, and I appreciated hearing more of that. Thank you to Ty, I appreciate that. Happy 50th to you too. And Jacob said the last track was attending an ex-wedding show. It's supposed to sound like Drunk and Desperate. Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. See, if I talk too quickly, the AI does not know what to do with that. So I need to talk more slowly. That's probably really good for YouTube in general. But stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next live stream. Spiderhands out. 3, 2, 1.